Only real movie fans notice these in You Season 4 Part 1. The psychological thriller You has returned with the Season 4, starring Penn Badgley as the love-obsessed serial killer. After the wild and twist-laden Season 3 finale, Joe Goldberg starts a new life in London as a lecturer with a new fictitious name, Jonathan Moore. Soon, his new life is disrupted by murder and chaos, and this time somebody has set their eyes on taking Joe out. But you might have missed a few not-so-hidden details. So today, we are going to take a look at things only real movie fans would have noticed in You Season 4. And before we start, make sure you hit the subscribe button to enjoy more awesome videos like this. Number 1. Phoebe was on the front page of the newspaper. When Joe was following Marianne, he sits down and reads a newspaper at the train station. Only real movie fans would have noticed that the newspaper had Phoebe on the front page, and according to the headline, Phoebe was intoxicated when she flashed something she should not have at the camera. It also means that Phoebe is someone quite famous, and Joe reads about her before he even gets to meet her in London. But remember that in this little throwback, Joe is in Paris. Number 2. Phoebe has several stalkers. You'd have probably missed a hidden detail about Phoebe when Joe was researching her. Joe discovers an article on Phoebe that claims she has another stalker, implying that Phoebe has more than one stalker. The fact that Phoebe is famous enough to make headlines explains why she is being stalked by multiple people, possibly psychopaths. This can be a reason why Phoebe was so eager to leave the city when the words about "eat the rich killer" spreads. Number 3. The Clotho Gallery. Kate's social media has lots and lots of pictures of her art. This hints that Kate is completely obsessed with her art gallery and is all about her work. The name of her art gallery is the Clotho Gallery, but there's a hidden message you might have missed. Clotho was a mythological figure tied to death. She was considered to be the youngest of the 3 fates who hold the threads of human existence. Thus, Clotho determines the life and death of humans. It's also reflected in the show's plot because characters take it into their own hands and decide when and where to get rid of a person. Clotho also hints that death will always follow Joe around. Number 4. The assigned story is foreshadowing. It appears that Joe has changed completely as he becomes a teacher, but there was a hidden detail in the story he assigns to his students. The Telltale Heart is a short story by Edgar Allan Poe, which is assigned to the students. This classic story is about a man who horribly dismembers the body of the person he murdered and then hides the evidence. It foreshadows what Joe would do at the end of the episode. Joe murders Malcolm and dismembers his body. Number 5. Hugh Grant ROM-COM. Most fans would remember that Joe was a bookseller in Season 1 who fell in love with Beck, but then terrible things followed his passionate love for her. So when Joe moved to London, he claimed that he wasn't Hugh Grant seeking a Notting Hill romance. In this rom-com, a bookseller falls in love like Joe did in the first season. It strongly indicates the true intentions of Joe in this new city. And when Joe says he's not Hugh Grant, he means that he didn't want to be that person in London, and that he wasn't interested in developing an obsession with a woman that would compel him to start killing people again. Number 6. Kate might be hiding something. When Kate is first introduced in the new season, fans would have noticed that there's something quite intriguing about her. While Joe finds that out soon with his excellent stalking skills, most fans would have missed the hint in the beginning. Except for Kate, everyone in Phoebe's social circle has popular social media accounts with hundreds or millions of followers. But when Joe found the social media account of Kate, he pointed out she's the only person who appears to use social media only for professional purposes, and the few profiles she has led back to the art gallery where she works. Plus, Kate had a little over 200 followers, and when Phoebe posted a picture with Kate, someone commented on the post inquiring who Kate is. Although Kate doesn't have much of an internet presence, but don't forget that Joe is also someone with no social media presence. It was a big hint that Kate might also be a dangerous person who doesn't want to be known. Number 7. References to the American songs. The only American in Phoebe's circle of friends is Adam, who occasionally mentions his country on his social media. Joe stalks everybody's social media, and that includes Adam too. Adam's Instagram feed features a message with lyrics from the American classic song American Pie by Don McLean. Another comment references another American favorite, Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. Adam's roots are evident in everything that he does, and mentioning the song Take Me Home also hints that Adam misses his home and that American vibe. Something you might not have noticed is that during stalking, Joe came across information about Adam's family history, including that of his grandfather. This information is noteworthy because Adam's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather are all named Alexander Pratt, and Alexander IV as his father. However, this changed when Adam and his brothers Jace were given entirely different names. The information about Adam being another American besides Joe was deliberately hidden at the start of the season. Number 8. Joe let Marianne go. While fans believed that the moment Joe laid eyes on Marianne, he would transform into his obsessive self and refuse to let her go. But Joe proved it wrong. He didn't just appear eager to show her that he had changed, he also let his actions speak for themselves by letting her go. Joe came to London on vacation, but he was still obsessed with Marianne. This made it hard for Joe to recognize the danger he was in. But Joe managed to save Marianne, even when he was being blackmailed to kill her. He ran into her, took her necklace, and sent it as evidence that Marianne was killed. It was a satisfying turn of events that revealed why fans sympathize with serial killers like Joe on television. Joe left fans stunned when Marianne survived, as they were convinced that she would die at his hands. Joe getting drunk and losing himself was all planned. However, Joe was starting to love the excitement of life that London provided him this new season, and he purposefully avoided killing anybody. Still, the new season conveys that demise and loss of life appears to follow Joe around no matter where he goes. Since he was a little boy, Joe has been involved in crimes and finds ways to justify them. Yet, the one time he decides to take a break, he becomes the target. Number 9. Suicide Note and Ellie's disappearance. A wall in Joe's flat is covered with stories about people from Joe's past who have died or disappeared. The news article about Peach includes the suicide note Joe wrote in Season 1, and the stalker wall makes several references to Natalie's disappearance in Season 3. Ellie and Delilah are both still missing, according to an article on the wall's bottom left, implying that Delilah's body was never discovered and Ellie was able to remain hidden following her sister's death in Season 2. Only real fans would have noticed that the news articles in Joe's flat reveal Peach's suicide note and provide evidence that Ellie vanished after Delilah passed away. Number 10. Joan Didion quote. During Simon's funeral, Reese reads a quote from Joan Didion. Only real fans would remember that Love has already suggested Didion to Joe after he admitted that he hadn't read any of her work at the start of Season 2. As much as You Season 4 is about romance and tragic murders, this new season and the previous ones are all about the love of reading, since many things are concealed in the books that are discussed or assigned. In Part 1, Reese quoted Joan Didion during Simon's burial. As Joe's ex-wife Love advised that he had read a book by Joan, who is a novelist, fans have already encountered earlier in the series. Is there something we missed? Or have you also noticed these hidden details of You Season 4? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Give this video a thumbs up, and we'll be back soon with another exciting video. Stay safe!